Okay. Okay. Gonna be getting talking here in a minute. Oh, okay. What's going on here? Does anybody know how to put a flashlight on the stream? Is that a possibility? Does anyone know? Any smart people out there? Let's see. Let's try a little something here. So that. Is that better? Nope. Okay. Boy, oh boy, it is dark. What is this place? Okay. We'll see if anyone decides to pop in and say hello. We'll see. But actually, we got some weather in the now. I'll open up the window and you guys are gonna get blasted with some of that weird rain snow mixture, whatever it's called, sleet maybe. There you guys go. There's your sleet experience. But actually today I have quite a bit to talk about. Quite a bit today. I'm hoping a little bit of people show up, so it's not just me talking to myself. But if if I am just talking by myself the whole time, it is what it is. Roll with the punches is what they say. Um, and again, I'm gonna try to make sure I do not end up in terrible situations tonight, like hitting a deer, hitting a sign, or maybe even swerving into a ditch. So ideally, I'll have a normal night. Let's hope. What's up? It's M. Uh, it's M. I'm actually gonna go over a lot today, so just feel free to listen in whatever you want. Obviously, I will say this too. If you got any type of questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot them in. Visibility is pretty trash out here right now, but I'll do my best to answer them. What's up, Kira Powell? No, man, it's all good that nobody was watching at the time. You were the first one in, I believe. Usually, it takes me a couple minutes to get somebody in. Uh, Usually, how it works, I'm not some mega YouTuber right now, so like, makes sense that it takes a second for me to get people in. What am I doing? I'm on my way to the gym right now, and I'm driving through some nasty weather. I'll quick show you guys what that looks like. Here's one view, and if I open up the window, I'll give you guys another look. Check that out. So that right there, we got some like snow, rain mixture, real messy, bad visibility, and yeah, hopefully I don't hit nobody or no deer. That'd be ideal. What's up, Malachi Reed? So I'll start off like this. Um, as you can see, I've showed you guys a couple times. This is interesting. This is our first little grasp of weather in a minute here, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this little bit of moisture, I guess. Pretty cool to me. But this just was completely random. This is not why I'm live. I'll tell you guys why I'm live in a minute. I'm gonna do my first ever movie review, and it's the Twister Joplin Tornado. Wow, this is kind of getting crazy. Look at this. What is going on? This came out of nowhere, I swear. I don't know if it looks as bad as it does in my perspective, but I tell you what, roads are getting a little hard to see. It's kind of crazy. Look at that. Oh man, my brightness is okay. I'll turn my brightness up. Is that a little okay? There we go. You can see me. Is that better now? Sorry. Yeah, I did have my brightness like very low. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sure all you guys could see was just pitch black. So, but unless this starts getting real wild and crazy again, and I miss my turn. Oh, come on now. Oh, sorry about that. I missed my turn, so I'm gonna have to improvise a little bit here. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Joplin tornado documentary that just came out, and I'll be 100% honest. I came into here with absolutely no notes. I'm just gonna go completely at the top of my head. Now, first, I want to say if you haven't seen it and you're interested in this type of stuff, I would 100% go and watch the whole thing. It's an hour and a half long, and it's not a type of documentary that you're just going to be like, man, this is dragging on. They are absolutely just trying to grasp at every little bit of straws that they can, you know. Is it still pitch black? I'm sorry. I'm going to try to see if I can. There we go. Does that work better? This might be illegal. Hopefully not. You know what? I'm gonna turn that off because that makes my visibility worse. And this one dude is saying, "Please don't crash. We want to live for a long time." Yeah, I think I want to live at least long enough to chase some major tornadoes, and I can't do that if I'm 6 feet under. So, unfortunately, until I get into the city, I won't really be able to see much of you guys. So, but I'm gonna kind of just ramble a little bit about the movie. Once again, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in this type of stuff, definitely watch it. Look at this again. I know I keep getting off track, but what is going on? It just came out of nowhere. It's pretty gross out. So back to the documentary. Once again, I'm gonna try not to get too off topic. So it is really good. At the time I watched it, #2 movie on Netflix, hour and a half long. Doesn't feel like it. They bring in multiple different types of stories, multiple different types of witnesses, and you really see the level that this tornado changed the lives of people in Joplin. And one misconception I had, I thought Joplin was a much bigger city than it really was. Joplin is only, during the time of the 2011 tornado, Joplin was only about a population of 50,000 people. So for comparison, my city that I'm currently in, it's called Dickinson, North Dakota. It has about 26,000, so it's about double the size. Joplin's not a tiny city, but it's not a huge city like I originally thought. But it definitely was still very destructive. Many lives were lost. I believe it was around 196. And I will say this, I'll go through no spoilers at first for those that want to see it, and then I'll go over some spoilers too. You might actually be the only person in here right now. I don't know. Some people, it's kind of just a constant flow in and flow out. Um, I'm just kind of gonna ramble for anyone who decides to pop on in. And I am 18 years old, almost 19. So, but anyway, spoiler-free part first. Okay, so the testimonials that they bring in, a lot of them are very interesting and very dramatic. Um, you definitely get the type of feel of how dangerous this type of tornado was and how unpredictable and how scary it was. And I love that they show some they show some actual video footage from the people who lived through this. And then they also show some footage that isn't actually real, but it's just like what it would look like. Um, and it is really interesting, and it is crazy. And I will say one guy in specific, I am talking about the Netflix documentary about the Joplin tornado that just came out not too long ago. It is really good. Even if you're not a huge documentary person, if you like any type of weather, you're probably gonna like this because, I mean, I loved it, and even my dad was sitting there with me, and he loved it too. You know. So thanks again for everyone saying that they're subscribing and liking and commenting. Love it. Really appreciate it. Um, but now, if you guys do not want to hear the spoilers that I'm going to bring up here, I give a pretty short summary of what happens because I don't know, it's hard to not give away the story with spoilers. I mean, most of you know that it was a very bad event and a lot of people died, but the specifics for the stories is kind of what I am going to be spoiling. And I'm basically going to be talking about one guy in specific. Um, Spoilers starting now, okay? His name was Steven. I want to say I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Steven. And so Steven's story was, so he and some buddies were hearing from one of their dads that a tornado was coming, which would be the massive Joplin tornado, right? So they heard it was coming, but at first they were confused. They're like, oh, okay, that's weird. The sky is pretty much blue, you know? It's completely almost a blue sky, nothing. And just moments later, it all changes, you know? The sky gets dark and it gets that ominous green hue, and soon they find themselves in a pretty dangerous situation. So what happened to this, there's four of these guys. Two of them did testimonials, two of them didn't. But Steven is the one you really want to pay attention to. And I might talk about a couple other people's stories too, because there was just such good stories. But Steven's had the craziest, in my opinion, just because you'll see what I mean. Basically, with Steven is, so they were in a vehicle, right? And the tornado was coming on. It was starting to get windy. It was starting to get crazy. And they started to panic a little bit because, you know, you don't really want to be in a vehicle during a tornado, and especially during a tornado like the Joplin one, which was an EF5. If you're in a vehicle during an EF5 tornado, not safe, you're probably going to go flying. You're probably going to go flying. And so that's exactly what happened to Steven and his friends. In their vehicle, it started going tumbling and tumbling. It just went ballistic. And so there was a point where some of them weren't wearing their seatbelts, some of them buckled in. Now, here's my thing. I don't know if Steven did. I have a feeling he didn't, because what happened is one of his buddies was holding him, and then eventually he flew out the window and was picked. The tornado grabbed a hold of him and threw him. You know, he was getting smashed with debris, smashed with all that type of stuff all around the tornado. And so basically, he's just in rough shape, in and out of consciousness. And so his buddies, after a little bit, his buddies see that he is not in the car. And so now imagine if you're in that situation, you're in your car with your friends or family, tornado comes through, you guys are flying, you know, get a little bit banged up. What's up, I Show Meat? How are you doing, man? Right now. I'm talking about the Netflix documentary about it was the Joplin tornado. So big stuff right there. And so anyway, Steven, the friends went out and were yelling for Steven. Steven, where are you at? Where are you? And Steven, my man Steven, is just in and out of consciousness. He's in rough shape, you know. He's not doing so hot. He just got thrown by an EF5 tornado. So you're not going to be in a great mood when you get thrown by an EF5 tornado. But so then what happens to Steven is he's just like in and out of consciousness. And one of his friends recalls that you could see his heart beating through his chest. Now think about that a second. You could see it beating through his chest. So the way I saw that is he was in such a rough condition. He was in such a rough condition that you could visibly see his heart pumping and jumping. You know? So that's not where the story ends. Um, then what happens to Steven? Not only was he thrown by a tornado, he goes through all that. Oh, uh, Steven contracts a very bad virus from the tornado. I can't remember what it was called, but it's a very, very dangerous, bad bacteria. And remember, his heart was exposed, right? So you have all this opening for all this junk to get inside your body. Probably not going to end too well. And unfortunately for Steven, he did get in a bit of a bad situation. He was in a coma, I believe they said around 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a coma, and they had to remove so much. They had to, I believe it was remove his ribs, or like almost all of his ribs, a big part of his stomach, and part of his heart. And obviously, he was just fighting through the whole time. But he was in a coma. A lot of people didn't think he'd make it. He does. He makes it, and his testimonial in the story is insane. At first when he first like pops up in the story, you don't expect that he'd have such a big story, but even parts of his throat had to be removed. He has like a circle in his throat, and that was the craziest story. And he really just turned his life around. If you want to look up more about Steven, he was called the Joplin Miracle Boy. If you search that up, you'll find him. Uh, I wanted to learn more about him yesterday, and so I searched that up, and I did find more about him. One thing I found to be really, really inspiring about this too is he grew up in a very unstable household. Um, I want to say around 16. I want to say there's something to do with his dad getting like a really bad drug addiction. And so obviously that's really hard on families. I think he said he got kicked out of school for fighting and all different types of things. Um, it's just really incredible. And the part that I really thought was amazing is nowadays he has a family and he's not into like the drugs and he's living a great life. Um, it's just a really beautiful story. It's where a type of story where you get a second chance at life, and I believe Steven really just did take that chance, and he didn't waste it. You only get one chance at life, and a lot of times the only time that you wake up is when you almost do die, when you actually almost lose your life and you realize your mortality. That's not really about storms. That's a little bit about philosophy. Which, speaking of, I've been watching a lot of philosophy stuff. Really interesting stuff. I love that type of stuff. It's beautiful. Um, one of my, oh man, we got a ton of people here. What's going on here? What am I missing? What's up, Kira Powell? Good to see that you're still here. You might be the lone survivor of my stream right now. I think a lot of people are kind of coming in and out, and we've just been sticking at one, two, or three. Usually I just get that initial burst. Not too many people usually stay around, but I appreciate that you have. And then anyone else who has stuck through my analysis of Steven's story. And I think I'm not really going to talk about the other people's stories just for time reasons because my gym here closes in roughly 25 minutes. So I'm going to have to get a real quick workout in. So if you guys would like, I can definitely talk more in depth about this documentary too on another time. I can 100% do that for you guys because I believe I remember this documentary very well because it was a very, very good documentary. I give it 9 out of 10. Probably one of the best documentaries I have personally ever watched. It's the right amount of time. They don't drag it on, and all the characters that they show, you tend to gain a lot of sympathy towards, just because a lot of people, I believe, don't realize how insane this tornado was, and I was one of them. It really opened up my eyes. You can see the community of Joplin. Everything was just completely just obliterated and gone, and that is just tragic. And so sad to hear. Um, Definitely one of the tornadoes that changed America. It got nationwide coverage. Um, just an incredibly sad situation. And the thing is too, is this documentary will teach you things because that's the thing. That's the unfortunate reality is that severe weather is going to happen. Tornadoes are going to happen. Obviously, more some areas are way more prone to others. Like if you're sitting in California, you probably don't got to worry about tornadoes as much as those in I don't know Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, places like that. But it's just so insane to know that Mother Nature is just one of the most powerful things, and it really just can't be. You can't really stop it sometimes. You know this EF5 tornado. And the best you can do is just pray. You know, you just gotta pray it misses you, and you gotta pray that the structures hold up and you don't get sucked up and fly everywhere. Another spoiler about this show: a lot of the testimonials, some people did actually lift off the ground. Only the one guy was actually thrown across way over, but there was some people that were lifted off the ground and definitely in some precarious situations. Um, Getting whipped with winds and debris and all that kind of stuff. But that was the biggest point of my stream today. Biggest emphasis was to talk about this documentary that I watched. Um, it was a really, really good documentary. And I should just quick do another little talk. This winter storm I was talking about a little bit ago. Again, it was like 8 days out. Again, it's like it's doing one of these shifting east. This might be another Minnesota impacted region. Minnesota's been getting nailed with snow as of late, and I don't know if that's quite over yet. My area is actually going to be hitting 70s next week, so that's not really snow for us. But I will say this: there's probably going to be a pressure system change because we're going to be up here in 70s, and then the next couple of days, we're going to drop down 30, 40 degrees, and it's going to be windy and potentially snow, rain, sleet, all of that type of stuff. Um, but other than that, that's about all that I got for you guys right now. Obviously, I could talk about so much more. Like I said, I got to quick get in the gym and do an insanely quick pump. But once again, thank you for everyone who liked, commented, subscribed, and just overall tuned into the channel today. It is much appreciated. It's huge for the channel growth and huge to my mission to become a professional storm chaser and get you guys the best content that I can possibly give you. With that being said, thank you all guys. I'm going to be tuning off here. Appreciate all the love and support.